The Rock and Roman Reigns made their return to SmackDown, and it was in Glendale, Arizona, that we had a nearly 40-minute segment from The Rock, Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline to open the show. But the question is, what was the most important thing that we learned from that segment? And was there perhaps yet another significant clue involving the relationship between The Rock and Roman Reigns that we should really have our eye on now as we move forward towards WrestleMania 40? And the answer, yet again, is yes. If you've seen my previous video here and many other people talking about maybe all the different hidden clues, the hints that were in The Rock's promo on SmackDown previously, you saw that there were a lot of little things in there potentially that you could read into. It tells you that The Rock is going to, at some point, perhaps turn on Roman Reigns. Did we get more of that in this particular segment? It was probably not as evident. You did have The Rock's 20-minute promo by himself earlier in the day on Instagram, on social media, all that stuff, that really took aim at Cody Rhodes and went harder at Cody Rhodes than he's gone yet in this whole particular thing, other than just physically slapping him at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event in Las Vegas. But what you did get here was perhaps the real story about what is actually driving this whole entire story towards Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. And that is the dynamic between The Rock and Roman Reigns. And now here is where I think we saw a lot about what each side is kind of out to get from this entire thing. But more importantly, what Roman Reigns has kind of at stake here with The Rock now positioning himself alongside Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa in the Bloodline. And you could tell right from the beginning of the segment, this was something where Roman Reigns was, not to say maybe not himself, but Roman Reigns was a little more frustrated. You could see the frustration. He asked to be acknowledged multiple times. He didn't think it was good enough to be able to sort of get that first round of acknowledgement from Glendale, Arizona. He needed it multiple times. That's what Roman Reigns needed here. After everything that's gone on, the frustration had kind of seeped in, and he needed more of that acknowledgement. But there's something else that he needed, and it wasn't just the acknowledgement from the Glendale, Arizona crowd, right? It was the moment that kind of sent everybody into a whoa, was when Roman Reigns stopped The Rock from doing the catchphrase, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and Roman Reigns wants to be acknowledged by The Rock. And this, I think, is where you saw the most important thing, and perhaps, again, another significant clue in this whole thing. And the visual says it all. It is this. It is the facial expression from Roman Reigns when he gets the hug from The Rock. It's not even just the validation of The Rock saying that he acknowledges you, my tribal chief. It's not just the line itself. It's now, they've got they embrace hands here, right? And then Rock pulls him close, gives him this huge hug, and you can see it right here on the screen. The facial expression from Roman Reigns goes from one of pure frustration and feeling like maybe he's a little bit pissed off at the way this whole thing's playing out and wondering, okay, am I kind of getting, played here and all this other stuff? He's heard everything, right? This is an insecure kind of character. It's an angry, insecure type guy who's heard all the nonsense. He's heard it all. And so he's wondering this whole time, okay, I've got to get this validation from The Rock. And it's not just that he got it. It's what we see from him right here. That once he does get that, you see what? You see Roman Reigns now exhale. It's a big exhale. He's let his guard down. Okay, like he now feels like he's gotten what he needs as, again, a character that is insecure, that is sort of surrounded himself with people who've continued to feed his ego throughout this entire Bloodline run. And the people who haven't, we know what's happened to them, right? Jey Uso among that group, Sami Zayn, everyone else that kind of had been involved in the story, they're no longer surrounding Roman Reigns. Ultimately, Jimmy came back. Solo's kind of always been there. Heyman's always been the guy to tell Roman what he wants to hear. But then, what happened? you had The Rock come back around, and he'd been hearing that name for years and years now about how, yeah, you're the tribal chief, you're the head of the table, but wow, wait until The Rock comes back. Wait until The Rock is right here. Then what's going to happen, Roman? Are you going to be the big dog, pun intended, in that scenario? He'd heard all of that. And so that's built over time, that this was kind of in this guy's brain. Again, knowing this character already the way that it was, right? Roman had already crafted this thing to where the facial expressions, just everything he'd done, were pretty masterful at times, because you just think, again, how they've continued to kind of build this thing up for years now. But now that you get this dynamic where everything changed, not just when The Rock made his return and asked, should I sit at the head of the table? Everything changed when what happened at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event in Las Vegas happened, where all of a sudden it's not just Roman Reigns versus the world, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. It's not just that anymore. It's Roman Reigns and The Rock against Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and whoever else is out there, right? Roman Reigns, though, in the process became, and I think clearly now, there was we talked about it, a little bit of maybe questioning. Are they making Roman Reigns feel like a sidebar here? Is he just kind of sitting in the background and he's become an afterthought in this entire thing? But I think what you saw in the SmackDown promo was that was very intentional, because now Roman was the little brother, right? From Las Vegas on, everything that's happened from Las Vegas on at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event and all kind of the other situations, everybody's been focused on The Rock. All the reaction, everything. Again, even the long promo that The Rock cut, not just on the previous SmackDown, but on social media, all of that. Everybody's talking about The Rock, Cody Rhodes, all of this other stuff. Roman Reigns has been the afterthought. He's been the little brother, right? That's what everybody's like, Rock's little brothering Roman Reigns. And so all the promos that Rock has cut on SmackDown, what's happened? You've had the entire Bloodline just standing to the side as if they are in no way a part, like they're not even the center of attention anymore. This was their story, right? This was Roman's story. He was not the center of attention. It's all been about The Rock. But now that he is able to ask The Rock, Roman Reigns finally gets what he wants. He finally gets that validation from, and I kind of phrase it like it's legitimately like a son wanting his father's validation more than anything in the world. That's how it felt here. Or you can use the little brother thing, where it's the little brother wanting the big brothers. Kind of, you just want kind of their blessing that, okay, like I am buying into what you are. I believe in who you are. And, you kind of give them that pat on the back. In this instance, you give them what? You give them the hug, right? Finally, like Roman Reigns, that's what he was chasing. One of many things that he's been chasing, but this was something that he was really chasing, is how do I get rid of the insecurity and everything that's gone along with this whole journey? Now, it's to finally get that validation, not from the people in every single city that he goes to. He wants that. He needs that. Like his ego, his character needs that. But what he really needed was that acknowledgement from the only person that mattered in this whole entire thing, and that was The Rock. Now that this has become what it's become, he's heard all the stuff. Boy, The Rock may be out to get you, be concerned, all this other stuff, right? It's everything. Like, this is what has fed into his mind. And now to see this, and this is just one shot, right? If you go back and watch it, you can really see, and this is, again, where Roman, I think, has been fantastic, not just with this, but in the past, too, throughout this entire Bloodline run. It's just the facial expressions. It's the little bitty things. It's the little details that I think you've seen from Roman Reigns here, to where this is kind of what he became. There was the frustration visible on his face, but once he was able to get what he needed, he lets his guard down, he exhales, and then he even gets to say, if you smell what the Bloodline's cooking, he's gotten everything he wants for right now. And he's going to get to team up with The Rock, all this other stuff, the Bloodline rules potentially in place. Finally, pun intended, he feels like he's come back to where he needs to be, heading into this big match against Cody Rhodes, the rematch from WrestleMania 39. And now he knows that he has The Rock by his side. He trusts him. And this is where The Rock has him exactly where he needs him for the eventual turn that we all know is going to happen. Will it happen at WrestleMania 40? Boy, it sure sounded like it by setting up the potential bloodline rules aspect. If The Rock and Roman Reigns defeat Cody and Seth Rollins on night one of the tag team match, you'll get the bloodline rules match, and you got to believe that's where we're headed. A victory for The Rock and Roman Reigns on night one. Then how do we get the finish on night two, where either Cody finishes the story or we continue along this path with the relationship and perhaps the real story now involving The Rock and Roman Reigns as we move forward with the Bloodline saga. So let me know what you thought about the segment. It was a long segment, but again, I do think the most important thing to take away from it, and there were many things, the positioning of Roman Reigns in this entire situation and just seeing kind of the character changes of Roman Reigns that we've seen now over the past couple weeks to where now he gets the big embrace with The Rock. He gets the acknowledgement he wanted more than anything else. And does that now send Roman into the next chapter of his particular story as we get closer to WrestleMania 40? So let me know what you think about the segment on SmackDown. It was a long one, but would love to know your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button. New channel here. Just enjoy talking wrestling. And again, if you want to go back, watch the previous video we did on kind of dissecting The Rock's promo from the previous SmackDown, you can do that too. So appreciate you guys watching, and let me know what you think about Roman Reigns getting the acknowledgement that he's always wanted from The Rock.